You've seen the sales, the limited time offers, the shirt that costs less than a sandwich. Fast fashion, it seems like a deal until you take a real close look at how much damage it actually does. The average American tosses out 81 pounds, that's 36.7 kilograms of clothing every year. That's over 11 million tons, 9.9 million metric tons of textile waste that's added to landfills in the United States every year. Globally, clothing production has surpassed 100 billion garments per year, and much of it ends up unused or discarded. This industry, it moves fast because it's built to. Fast fashion companies don't follow seasons. They follow algorithms and trend cycles. They're churning out new styles every few weeks, not months. The idea is simple. Keep prices real low and make products that look good briefly and keep customers buying. And guess what? It works. But behind the speed and volume lies a production system that cuts corners. It cuts corners on quality, on environmental responsibility, on labor conditions, fair wages. Take a look at materials. Making one cotton t-shirt requires roughly 2,700 liters. That's 713 gallons of water. Cotton is a water-intensive crop, and some of the top producing regions already face serious water stress. Synthetic fabrics like polyester, they're even more concerning. They're made from petroleum. They account for over 60% of global clothing fibers. And unlike cotton, polyester does not biodegrade, and it breaks down into microplastics, tiny strands of less than 0.2 inches or 5 millimeters long that end up in the oceans, inside fish, and eventually inside your belly. These are not activist talking points. These are lab-confirmed scientific facts. Now, depending on the material and the production process, a single pair of jeans can emit between 20 to 30 pounds of CO2. Multiply that by billions, and you begin to understand why clothing has become a measurable contributor to global industrial emissions. It actually rivals air and sea transportation combined. And let's take a look at the labor. Garment workers in major manufacturing hubs like Bangladesh or Vietnam, they often earn the equivalent of 30 cents to 50 cents per hour with little to no labor protection. Way back in 2013, the Rana Plaza factory collapsed in Dhaka. It wound up killing 1,134 workers and injured over 2,500 people. The building, it was flagged for structural issues, but workers were ordered to keep pressing on, keep the production going. Some of the largest clothing brands in the entire world were sourcing from that factory. Even resale markets, they can't keep up. Of the clothes donated to charities, up to 70% are resold to countries in Africa, Asia, or South America. In cities like Accra, Ghana, traders sort through up to 15 million garments a week, with a huge portion being unusable, torn, or contaminated. These unwanted clothes end up in local landfills or illegal dump sites, shifting the burden from wealthy nations to poorer ones. The point here is not to shame the consumer, though. It's to understand the system. Most people buy what's affordable and available, but fast fashion's low prices come from somewhere, namely low wages, synthetic shortcuts, and a disregard for long-term consequences. It's an economic model built for high turnover, low accountability, but maximum volume. And while it's quite profitable, it does leave behind a trail of waste, strain, and risk. There are alternatives, though. Some companies focus on durable construction, transparent supply chains, functional design over flash. Governments have begun to react as well. France, they passed a law banning the destruction of unsold clothing. And in the United States, there's been crackdowns on piece rate wages. It's an abuse in textile shops. But meaningful change is not going to come from slogans. It'll come from choices made by manufacturers, by regulators, and yes, by consumers who understand what they're really paying for. Fast fashion, it's not just a trend, it's an entire system. And the damage that it does isn't theoretical. is physical, measurable, and already here. These are Interesting Things with JC.